little badass, book badass. You little badass, you little badass, book club badass. Welcome to the show.
All right, let's get started.
Okay.
Because, wow, there has been so much that's happened in the latest reading, don't you think?
Okay, so I was just telling Katie, she already knew because I've told her twice or 3 times by now,
It's
but
okay.
after we wrapped the last pod, I went home and I finished How to Sell a Haunted House, like just in that afternoon.
And I believe your words were, what a ride, and then face melts emoji into the screen.
Right.
So I got excited and I tried so hard. I was really tired that day, so I got halfway through the following chapter, which was a horrible place to stop because it takes off. And okay, so this episode, just a reminder to all of our friends, we are done with How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix.
Yes.
And we're 2/3 of the way through The Buffalo Hunter.
Yes. So in this first section, we were chapters 1 through 9. Now we're 10 through 16 finished. And then there's like 30 something chapters, but they must just be short chapters.
In the hardcover book, it's about page 240.
Perfect.
Which is almost 2/3 of the way through because at the end, I don't know if you saw, there's this huge acknowledgments section, which is,
well, that explains.
I started reading it. It was pretty cool. But anyways, and we're talking about, of course, the book from Stephen Graham Jones, and it's a historical Tony.
It is a historical fiction horror. And for anybody who keeps close contact on our Instagram, it is called The Buffalo Hunter because sometimes I've referenced it as Buffalo Hunter and other times I've referenced it as The Buffalo Hunter and I'm trying to make it more consistent. I think I fixed them, but maybe I didn't.
You know what? We're here for a good time, not a long time.
But look at how cute. If you're watching,
it's so little.
It's like a tiny little The.
Oh, you know what? I'm sure either ways are fine.
I just don't want to disrespect Mr. Jones.
Sorry, Mr. Jones. We hope you don't feel disrespected.
But anyway, I am enjoying it, and what should we start with?
It's
I'm
heavy.
Speechless.
They are heavy. They are so okay. You know what? Because Grady is done, and it was wild. I mean, wild. Let's do that. I think I had posted this last week, that my initial thoughts, and I was waiting for the Grady traditional shock and awe. Like, to be honest, the first half was a lot of buildup. I felt it was more than the Southern Book Club. What do you think?
Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit more just jerky and jarring, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what Louise is going through too, so I can see how it reflects to the theme and just the characters. But yeah, for me, Southern Book Club was just a little bit more of like this sequential story, everything sort of just lined up and like dominoes.
And a gang
smoothly.
Of characters.
Yes.
That way, like, anybody reading in Southern Book Club could be like, that's the
somebody.
character. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this was a little bit more focused, narrowed, and if you didn't vibe with the main character, Louise, or the co-pilot, I mean, what would you call Mark?
Yeah.
Then it was longer. Like,
and
it took longer
left
for me.
to identify with Pupkin. And while Pupkin and I could have probably been friends in another life, I was also just saying, it didn't leave a lot of options to resonate with a specific character.
Yeah.
So you just got to sit back and enjoy the story.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, and almost like if you took out knowing that it was a Grady Hendrix book, the first half really played like a drama piece almost. Like, you're losing your parents, you have this sordid relationship with your brother, you're going back home, you clearly have like an issue with your ex, and you have this daughter, and you're like almost like one of those stories. I don't want to say Hallmark, but that would be really funny if Hallmark like took this and ran with it.
That is funny.
But you know what I mean, like where it's like a woman rediscovering herself and going back home.
back to her hometown.
Okay. So
she's been off in San Francisco making money, and now she's returning home to sell her parents. It's totally Hallmark.
I mean, right? Okay, so actually, you know how they do, like, they'll take either a TV show or a famous movie, and they'll change the genre and make a commercial for the genre.
Yes,
so, like,
yes.
Recently, I saw Gilmore Girls, but turned into a horror movie where Dean is like a creeper.
First of all, two of my favorite things.
Okay, it's hilarious. Like, I thought it was hilarious, you guys. Maybe I can find it and repost it. But like, I could see them taking this horror and like twisting it into like, hey, like Louise is finding her way. She's going to find her way. And then all of a sudden darkness.
Or just like her romantic interest is Pumpkin.
Please
they
write
grew up
this.
together.
Please write this. Grady, how do you feel about collaborating with Ashley? Because I think it'd be a hit.
Well, on that note, now that we're talking about it more, so this is our second read from Grady, and it almost makes me want to read a third because I feel like with Southern Book Club, it was a little campy in that, right in the beginning, Patricia's ear gets bit by the elderly neighbor.
Yeah.
So like there are things that are sort of just flying at you, but it just felt a little bit more normalized. Like it felt like a little bit more, I could be taking out the trash and my neighbor could attack me. But then with Haunted House, it was, and I've used this word before, so campy. Like you've got all this emotion and this seriousness and this grief and this like sibling conflict.
Yes.
And just these relationships.
And
like we'll talk about what went on with Mark when he went to college. Like that was wild.
Oh my gosh.
But then you've just got these sort of silly, horrific little events that are happening. But then the end, it's just back to this emotional thing. I don't know.
Right.
We'll get into it now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you already started hitting on a lot of good points. I'll just start by saying predictions. We had made some predictions. I had predicted that bargaining was going to be my least favorite. And that was the next part of the story. And I'll just say I was completely wrong. It was, to me, one of the most chaotic and perhaps even grotesque scenes where it's like, that's horror.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was waiting for. And it just so happened to happen exactly where we picked up. And so Ashley, if you want to jump in and explain that to readers, if you've been reading this with us, and obviously since we're at the end, spoiler alerts, or just enjoy learning about this book through us too.
Yeah, I was just opening up to take a look because bargaining was like the biggest portion of the book, it felt like. And so I was just going back to see if that was really the case. Okay, anger was pretty big too, but bargaining wasn't what I expected either. It was, okay, so when we jump back in, just to get everybody caught up if you haven't finished or read, we left off at Waffle House and Mark was about to tell Louise why he really left the college he was attending.
Yes.
And we go off into this, what feels like kind of a strange tangent about Mark's experience with a radical puppet organization.
Holy crap.
They were like political protesters who were really, really just like one with their puppets. It was and
we're not talking Vietnam. We were talking about after 9/11.
Yes.
Grady's probably just a few years older than us then?
I think
or
so.
a decade,
maybe
probably
a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were like freshmen and then maybe he was in college at that time. I don't know. But it was really okay. So I have to admit, when I first got into it, I was like, what the F is this?
Yeah. Well, because so in pure Grady fashion,
yes,
you think you know a character and then no. Then Grady goes, oh, no. This is who the character is. And listen to his story. There's a reason why Mark is who he is, like on the outside. And that's what I love. That's what I love that you do, Grady. So on the outside, you have Mark. And I told you last episode, I wasn't a big fan, right? He's like, he's got his beer belly. He's this failure. He's blaming everybody else. And then we find out, oh, no. That's Louise's perspective. You helped me see the light with that last time, Ashley.
Yeah.
That's Louise's perspective. But Mark is hiding from his own demons. And what are those demons, Ashley?
Yeah. Okay. So just again, when we wrapped up, I was already sensitive to Mark and I was already appreciating him. He was my favorite character so far. And then we find out he had that brush with death and he really remembered. And so I was still giving him a lot of grace. But then he goes and he becomes part of this troupe and they do this really, Grady, I really appreciated you for this preschool scene or whatever it was.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Where they're at the elementary school.
And they do like this reenactment / statement piece on the 9/11 and what our government had to do with it and
and propaganda.
Yes, propaganda. And for these small children, they're doing a performance.
So imagine being that principal and okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but imagine being that principal. You guys know why we took a pause there if you've been reading along. But you're like, oh, here's a local puppet troupe. let's have the puppeteers come to the school to teach us,
And the first half did go really well. The kids were really engaged and loving this whole scene, but then they put on their performance, which is something that you might actually see like on the street in Boston, and it was very passionate.
Imagine being that teacher, like a teacher watching that with the children, and it just like, it becomes...
Kids are crying,
explicit.
folks.
Yeah. Oh, right. And they're crying because a lot of their parents were serving overseas, and they were talking about dying soldiers and like...
Yeah. And I actually really liked Grady's like whole description of this scene. I mean, it was almost, again, like campy. Like I was kind of laughing, kind of like, what's going on?
And it's so out of like left field.
It felt that way. And then it's just like a picture playing or like a movie playing in my head.
Right.
But then we get to this like minor detail from Mark's past. So Pupkin does end up showing up, and he takes control over the lead puppeteer in the troupe and starts wreaking havoc. And then there's masks involved, and all the puppeteers are like just becoming wild animals. And Mark describes it as like wearing this mask and going off to this place and escaping real life. But also while they're in this escape, they're committing some violent and like scary acts. And then they get to this point where they
just keeps escalating.
It really does.
In the description.
They're eating dogs. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah. They wake up, there's bones. Because Mark talks about how, like, the essence of puppeteering is that you are not you. You are facilitating the puppet's life, essentially. The puppet is living on you, through you, and you have to give yourself to the puppet. And so he is witnessing, he's, like, disassociating, but it's brutal. These puppets are brutal. And I think Pupkin arrives because he joins the group, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, and he's talking to his puppeteer family about his mom's puppet and her career. And they go, "Oh, we want to meet that puppet." So he messages mom and is like, "Can you send him for school?" And all this time he's gaslighting his parents, because the truth is Mark was in acting school but felt unfulfilled and felt like all of the teaching artists, teachers that he had, the professors, were full of BS pretty much.
Right.
And then he's walking on the street about to give up and finds these street actors, essentially.
Yeah.
So he's not even at school. He's in the location, but
he's got his room in the dorm or whatever, but he stops going to class, and he starts like his new class is this group.
Yeah.
And then there's like the older guy who's the lead, and he has this cool stick puppet or whatever you would call it, like a marionette. He brings to life in a way, and that really like touches Mark. And then they introduce Pupkin. And I was just looking for this quote, but I didn't find it. But it was something along the lines of like, you put the puppet on, and like you're the possessor, but it possesses you.
Yes.
It's something about possession. Anyway, it was pretty much what we were trying to say here.
Yeah.
But,
okay, so talk more about like what Mark's doing, what Pupkin's doing with Mark.
So they
I'll see if I can find that quote.
The main guy ends up creating all these Pupkin masks. So then everybody who sticks around after the preschool What?
Sorry, for those listening, I just got so excited. I had earmarked it.
Perfect.
It is. So Clark, who's the leader.
Clark, that's right.
A puppet is a possession that possesses the possessor. So is a possession, but it possesses the possessor. And a mask turns a person into a puppet. So, like you were saying, these puppeteers are wearing these masks, so they're essentially not to blame.
They're all Pupkins now.
Yeah.
And they're doing these horrific things. And Mark sort of wakes up, like, slowly as they're progressing into these more, like, evil sort of things. They go back to the principal of the school who had kicked them out and didn't pay them, which they were really upset about because they had just the description of, like, how much time and money they had put into it when they were upset.
They felt right, like it was their right that they were wronged.
Yeah.
Because they also were honest about who they were.
Yeah.
I honestly think that principal did not do their research.
No, No, they didn't. And they like were a friend of a friend too. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Mark sort of like wakes up and they're at the principal's house and she's got a son and they're like terrorizing them. And it's not too specific, but there ends up being a fire that Mark causes and he leaves the whole situation like unsure of if he actually like kills a couple of his friends.
Okay, so question, because this was kind of curious to me. It's almost a dreamscape, right? And like he's even talking about the story that his mom told as a child, because that comes later back
the
into
woods and
play.
everything.
Yeah. That he goes there in his mind when he is puppeteering Pupkin. So he's like, it's almost like lucid dreaming, it seems, where he doesn't know the difference between reality or not. And he doesn't know why he can't just tell his mom, because he's essentially like his mom and starts to understand it. But in his fever dream, whatever brownout, I want to call it a brownout because he's like getting pieces of it. He says that the woman is like crying and screaming and holding her limp son's body. Did they kill her child?
See, I don't think so, but I did catch that.
So, like, Grady gives you enough to think, like, they might have murdered people?
Yeah, and then, so that happens there at her house, and then they end up going back to the place where they're staying, and then there's a big fire, and Mark needs to burn all the pumpkin masks, and it was weird, because I felt like I got to know Mark before this situation, and I'm like, he's so actually, he's so gray. Like, he sees, like, that there are other options.
I would have never thought that this was his story.
Even if, I just wouldn't have thought he would have just like left the situation like and lived his life thinking like, I wonder if I really did kill a couple of my puppeteer friends, because he goes back and he sees Clark.
Ignorance is bliss.
I guess he gets back to Clark because the mom demands Pumpkin back.
Nancy, whoa, I mean, okay, so the ending tells you why he's so important to Nancy, but it's like, Nancy, you gotta screw loose, lady.
We should never set Pumpkin in the first place, if that was the case. Which, I don't know. So there are some funny parts to that. But I just thought, like, okay, Mark seems to really have his head screwed on right. And then this happens.
So did you like him more for it or not? I liked him more for it.
I already had liked him. And then I'm just like, okay, Mark. And then again, like, I get it. I guess I get it. But I just was a little disappointed with all the like gray brown out situation. Yeah. I really hope they didn't kill the kid.
Okay,
but...
I hope not too. But so the fire, I remember what happened there. He comes home after like, not home, but back to that puppet place, and he's slightly aware of his role in it, and he's like, the only way to stop this is to destroy these things, to destroy Pupkin. And the only way I know how is fire. But they had made several Pupkins. Yes. There wasn't just the OG Pupkin.
Yes.
There were all these Pupkins they had made because they really leaned into Pupkin.
Yes.
And then all of these masks too. So in his mind, if he destroys these things, everybody will be free and we don't have to investigate the past. We'll move forward because there's guilt associated there if it did happen.
Right.
Right? Like, okay.
It was giving Mansons. Like, it was a very chaotic situation.
That was an inspiration for it.
I don't know, but it felt like we're writing pig on the wall here.
Okay, so if you're listening to this and you haven't read it, I know we're not giving too many details where you can't go and enjoy this. If this sounds right up your alley, it is a ride. Second half is a ride. Yeah. But if you're also like, what? I thought this was a haunted house. No, it's a puppet show, I think.
It is a puppet show. I think that we could have gone with a different name, to be honest. That was pretty much my only critique for it is what it is. And once you take a step back from that, my only critique is I could have used a different name. But then again, I wouldn't have expected, and then maybe that goes into everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Another thing, too, I did just want to mention is Mark, even later on, he keeps going back to reiterate that putting that pumpkin mask on was like an addiction in a way. Like it would really, he like was craving that. It was a perfect escape. You didn't feel any guilt. You were back to like their Neverland sort of thing. And he even brings that up again later when Pumpkin is on the loose.
Yep. Okay, so let's go back then. Nancy forces him to find Pumpkin. He thinks Pumpkin's destroyed.
Hoping so, probably.
Hoping so. And we don't have to talk about the journey getting there. But to his chagrin, really, Clark's like just hands him the puppet.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what happens. And then you kind of go, well, did he just make it up also?
Yeah, it felt that way, but it also, like, I think Clark was quiet enough to where something did happen. I don't know. It was enough mystery, but...
So do you think that in a sense, over the last few years, Mark's been kind of a gatekeeper of his parents? Like, we didn't know this, but...
Yes.
Or a guardian in a way, because he knows that Pumpkin's back at home. And maybe he feels this responsibility towards his parents to, like, keep his eye on Pumpkin. Or maybe he's drawn to Pumpkin. That was kind of unclear.
I think both. Yeah.
A little bit both?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. Because I don't know, that's kind of the first time he gets to see Pumpkin being really, really bad. Because I don't necessarily know that before that happened, he had associated Pumpkin with trying to drown him. I think he kind of put that on Louise.
Yes, 100%.
And then once he saw what Pumpkin was capable of in Boston, then he's like, oh, okay.
Okay, well, so that leads us to back to the Waffle House. He tells this story, and Louise is just kind of like, you would think normal, logical Louise, scientific, very father-like, would have normally, had she not experienced everything she experienced, been like, you're full of it.
Right.
But then she goes, I have to tell him. And then it's like, okay, so you thought I tried to kill you? No, that was Pumpkin this whole time.
Yeah.
And they decide to do what?
Well, now we have to destroy Pumpkin.
Who's at the house. And I'm not quite sure why they didn't enlist help at this point, other than... If you're not in the story, I guess it sounds crazy.
Yeah, I guess so. Or maybe they just felt like they just, now that they both were like united, that they could do this.
Okay. Like you and me.
Yeah, like we could do this.
For sure. Like we only had a few scratches. We're going in prepared.
We know.
Oh, but they also thought that he was scraps.
Oh, that's true.
Because of
he had been shot
multiple times.
So that is true. They did actually say that. They're like, okay, we just have to go clean up this mess. Finish it off. We're almost done. We're almost through this.
Long story short, what is the main thing that happens when they come face to face with Pumpkin again, Ashley?
Spider? Remind me.
Oh. Okay, so there's two. You talk about Spider. Okay, so Ashley's going to talk about Spider because he comes into play.
Oh my gosh, how did I forget how they end up in the hospital?
Okay. This was so gory. You guys, let's just... Ashley, do it.
Which, by the way, reminds me, we have a retraction to issue from last episode.
Okay.
Nancy doesn't lose any arms. Nancy has her arms. I had to go back and dig deep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's no Nancy losing her arms.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Grady, if I missed, I went back and I really was like, wait a second. They can't both lose their arms.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty... well, when she was hit in the car, because she was still alive. That's what I meant.
Then. Sorry. Never mind. No retraction.
That's why... Okay. So brings
this
me
is
to my
why
other
we have book club.
This is what brought me to my other prediction, which is relevant. I thought in the attic it could have been her arm.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So like the arm made it back. Okay.
Because they had said they had been T-boned, something like that, right? Does this sound familiar?
Yes.
That they had been T-boned and Dad died immediately because that was once again why Mark got the house because Nancy was technically alive.
Yep.
During the accident, my understanding was she had lost an arm.
Okay.
And then when she got to the hospital because of the blood loss.
Okay.
So I was trying to. I thought there would be something.
No, I get you
cool
now.
there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like maybe she had lost the arm at the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Or it just went back.
Or just went back. Something.
My bad.
Like
no
that.
retraction. Thank you. This is why we have book club. I'm feeling better now.
I mean, I think it's still valid to point out, like, yeah, she didn't like. When I said that, she hadn't lost her arm like prior.
So, but that feels like, though, just another little perfect thing that Grady is like, it's symbolic. It has to be symbolic that she loses her arm because she's this puppeteer for life.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway,
I mean,
move on.
I don't know. Or maybe it was like an Easter egg almost, you know, like where maybe he set himself up that if he wanted to take that later, he could have.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. It got me because I was like, there's an arm up there.
And it didn't get me. I missed it completely.
But there wasn't an arm up there, actually.
What I didn't miss was that someone does lose an arm quite graphically.
This is true.
So yeah, they go back to the house, and what
Yep.
happens?
So, okay. So Ashley was talking about Spider. So they go upstairs. So basically they see Pupkin goes up the side and has broken through a vent, and there's metal and everything. They come to find out that Pupkin's the one making the noise in the attic because Nancy had made him a little bed, but apparently he had started to get aggressive towards Nancy's husband because Nancy was taking care of her husband. So there's this jealousy, and they have locked Pupkin in the attic, but Nancy thought, well, at least I'll make him a bed because she loved him that much.
Yeah.
Well, Pupkin wasn't happy with that.
No, Pumpkin was like, why are you taking care of this guy? It's supposed to be you and me. He takes
Yeah.
care of himself, and it's dark and lonely up here, and I didn't like it.
And yes, guys, we are still talking about the puppet, this main horror
Yeah,
character.
the
And
cutie
that's where it's
little
kind of
pumpkin.
campy and hilarious. Like I
Yeah.
could see this as a movie that has jump scares, but I'm laughing.
Yeah.
I'm like laughing through it in a fun way,
Yeah, cock-a-wee-wee. That's Pumpkin's slogan, one of them.
which is kind of I mean, if done well, it could be creepy. So anyways, they go upstairs. He's in like his little bed, his
so
little homemade
cute.
bed.
And Mark has the gun, just in case.
Yep. But Mark starts getting inspired
Yeah.
by Pupkin. Pupkin's like talking, and Mark's like, Louise, you have to go because he's being drawn back in.
He remembers that like sort of
Yes.
euphoric feeling
Mhm.
of being one with Pupkin. So if Pupkin
Oh,
can
yeah.
just get on his hand, which he does,
Ugh.
then he can control Mark, and Mark is just like, I'm not strong enough for this. Oh, and by the way, my imaginary 6-legged dog is around as well and is gonna probably kill you, Louise. So you should probably leave now.
Yeah, and his name is Spider,
Yeah.
and because it was an imaginary dog, it has 6 legs, blue fur, lots and lots of teeth like a shark, and attacks her quite viciously in the
and
legs.
almost gets her.
Almost gets her, and is like working with Pupkin to do that. Like you get the sense Pupkin kind of controls everything in this house
That he wants to, yeah.
Yeah. And so in this way, it's more of like a poltergeist, right? It's more of like a ghost
Yeah.
haunting a object, which leads me to my favorite character, Barb.
Oh, I loved
but
Barb.
Real quick, they go downstairs after this. Well, first of all, do you like Spider? What'd you think?
So Spider does have redeeming qualities. I felt bad for Spider. I think he was just doing, what he was being told to do. I think he really did care for Mark too. And at that point, like Mark was kind of becoming one with Pupkin. And I don't know that Spider was really like Spider didn't attack Mark.
I just love the thought that somebody who hasn't read this book is listening to us right now.
Yeah, but Spider really gets to Louise, and he's like scratching the shit
Yep.
out of her and like
Yep.
biting her. And
And then she escapes to the garage, and it's this whole scene is very long and very brutal,
yes,
very bloody and
Yes.
brutal.
yes, and
I don't know how Louise keeps going, to be honest.
I think that also too, Pupkin sort of calls Spider off, and Spider gets scared because once Pupkin and Mark are like sort of united,
Yeah.
Spider's just like, this is too spooky for me, and he stops attacking Louise, and then
That's
they
so
all
sweet.
manage to get into the garage. Luckily, there's a saw there, like one of those spirally. What are those called?
A skill saw.
Yeah, a
skill
skill
saw.
saw. And then Louise thinks that the only option at that point would be to remove Pupkin from Mark,
And she thinks that he's agreeing that this is the only way to do it, which is
Yes.
to.
cut off the arm that Pupkin is inhabiting
And how is that described, Ashley?
in detail.
Extreme detail, you guys. Blood is splattering, fat pieces from Mark's arm, the bone crunching.
Yeah.
It is. And then Louise with her Girl Scout, like,
Tourniquet.
and you're just like, what? And then that was the moment I go, hey Grady.
How you
Hey,
been?
How you been?
Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And every time like I would read a word, I was like, oh, it's that moment where you kind of want it to stop because it made me a little queasy, but he kept going.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So then they end up going to the hospital,
Oh yeah.
and the arm can't be saved.
And then Mark's pissed at Louise because he thought clean cut, attach it, but they didn't keep
Yeah,
it
I
cold.
love how Mark was like, yeah, go ahead and cut off my arm. We're just going to get it right back on.
Oh.
Like, Mark is so,
He's kind
He's
of
just-
a doofus.
I was just going to say he just has a lot of faith in life.
Okay. That's kind. That's kind.
But it is funny, and it would be frustrating, I think, if he was my brother to be like, yeah, cut my arm off, but obviously make sure it's like
Yeah.
reattachable.
Yeah. And
So-
that's what we jumped back into.
Yeah, and then there's this whole hospital scene, and it's getting bleak. And I mean, Pumpkin still needs to be disposed of.
Yeah, he's in a trash can and he's been covered. But, you know, we also have to remember there's other entities in the house. Well, not even. Pumpkin just kind of controls the dolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So then Louise does end up disposing and destroying, so we think Pumpkin. However, there's a problem when
Oh,
she
right.
thinks she's wrapping everything up. Now we're
Ugh.
getting into depression. Mark is just
we're
unhappy.
the second ending.
Yeah, Mark is
Yeah.
unhappy because he's lost his arm. The whole sale is put off. Like, we
Yeah.
just need some time.
The fake ending.
Louise goes home, and keep in mind, Poppy, her
geez.
daughter, has been like acting strange, depressed this whole
I
time.
totally forgot, actually.
And then Louise gets home, and who is hanging out with Poppy but this new, not even improved, like this like knockoff
Paper mache.
pumpkin
Yeah.
that Poppy had created with her grandma
Her other
on her
grandma,
dad's
yeah.
side. And Kakawiwi is
He's back.
coming.
He never left. He just moved.
He beat Louise there, in fact. So his spirit continued on. And this is a problem. This is really bad because Poppy is acting out. Poppy's 5 years old. Poppy had already been having trouble.
Trauma.
And then the dad thinks, like, actually, this has been great for Poppy. Like, Poppy's got this
Because he doesn't
friend.
know the story, and Louise knows if I tell him the story, he's not gonna believe
I'm
me.
losing custody.
Yeah,
of
I'm
Poppy
losing
and
custody.
Pumpkin.
And it was kind of interesting because Mark's even like, or not Mark, Ian. What's
Yeah,
his name?
Ian.
Yeah, he's like so happy to see Louise, and like kind of wants to like
Trying to like use her like sadness for a sexy time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we can get through this together with our bodies.
And she's like, oh gosh, like this is the last thing that I want. But Pumpkin's still there, and then enters my favorite character, Barb, right?
Oh yeah, Barb's great. So Pumpkin causes some really serious problems. Like, he's not messing around this time. He entices Poppy to start a fire. Then he entices Poppy to
fire?
like cut herself. So it's
Yeah.
getting serious really quickly.
Yes.
Louise doesn't know what to do. She calls Mark, and Mark's like, "Oh shit! Oh, just come back. Like, bring everybody. The plane ride is not fun because Pumpkin is being a little brat."
Our aunt knows a lady who's gonna help us. Like
Yes,
we're gonna enlist the family, and then there's that Southern charm, right? You got that Southern family. Like we're all in this together. We can destroy this. And at this point, though, they just thought that it was a demon, and there's a very big distinction between demons
and ghosts.
and ghosts.
And yes, so I even have here on my paper, in case you're not watching, favorite character, Barb.
oh my gosh, Ashley,
Because
you
Barb
and
was
me-
amazing.
she is the best. A quick description for our friends, please.
Portly Asian is, I hope that's not offensive.
Yeah, with a big personality.
And it's just a nice gal.
Loving. She's
Her-
the person that like hugs you through the door.
Yeah, and she's just happy to see everybody. Great spirit, very positive, is a professional demon exorciser from
Mhm.
dolls specifically.
Yep.
And her trailer is full of dolls, but they don't have any demons. She keeps the demonized dolls in her storage, so not to fret.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
family is all there. I had been saying Constance was the one who was into the spirituality, but I think it's
Mercy.
Mercy's mom. It starts with an A, or she starts. Oh, gosh,
Aunt Gail.
yes.
Yes, Aunt Gail.
Aunt Gail starts
got
with an
you.
A.
Yeah,
But
guys.
because Aunt Gail is the one who knows Barb.
Yep. But Mercy's there too, and I think
Yes.
isn't Constance?
I
'Cause,
think
like
they're all there for support.
all believers support
Yeah.
her. The more they're like, we're gonna solve this problem. All we have to do is confront the demon, and then we can go back to the house and clean the space.
And Barb is confident.
Oh,
No
yeah.
problem. You got a demon, my specialty.
Everybody is confident, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
I don't think
let's
Louise was
go.
that confident.
Oh well, yeah. Well, because she also has Poppy with her at that point.
Yeah, and this is her daughter. Oh, and by the way, Poppy's soul seems to be like just getting completely
Leaving.
taking over. She's gray. She's damp.
Kind of makes you understand Mark, right?
Yeah.
Like, was Poppy responsible for all of that, or was
right,
Pumpkin?
right, right.
Oh, you guys, it's so.
So they're
wild.
losing.
Like,
It's a time crunch
how
too.
do we even do
I don't know. We're almost there. So it's a time crunch because we feel like we're losing a little bit of Poppy,
Yeah.
like with every minute. But
Yes.
unfortunately, they do start to communicate with Pumpkin, and it's a problem because Pumpkin is actually a ghost.
Yep.
Or something within Pumpkin is a ghost. And Barb's like, oh, well, I wish I would have known that because demons we could have taken care of today. Ghosts, you need to like get to the source.
Yeah, and then that brings it all back. We had talked about Arthur, right?
Yes.
His name was Arthur?
Wait. Freddie.
Oh, Freddie. Yeah,
The
okay.
brother, the uncle.
Sorry.
Arthur is our reverend or pastor or whatever in the other book.
The pages are bleeding together. Okay, so right, Freddie. We had mentioned how Uncle Freddie has to come back at some point last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And come to find out, he never left us.
No, Freddie. Poor little Freddie.
Yeah.
So I think Mark might even be the one who brings it up at Barb's house. Somebody brings it up, but anyway, they need to go talk to Aunt Honey, who happens to be in the hospital because she's the only one who was alive and knew what the heck was going on.
Yeah, because we know that first of all, once we realize it's a ghost, it kind of pops through Louise and Mark's mind, like.
I think because remember when Barb gets really sweet with Pupkin? I think he does mention Freddie.
Or mentions Nancy.
Or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where basically at that point we learned there's a connection between Pupkin and Nancy that isn't just this was Nancy's favorite toy.
Right.
It's why it so important.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they get to Aunt Honey and
who's a broad, man.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to. The past is in the past, and she wants to leave it there. But Louise is just like, no, we need to save Poppy, and I just need to know the truth. Damn it! So finally, they get to the bottom of it. There was a sad story about their Uncle Freddie who passed away when he was 5. And it just so happens that he happens to be buried on the land where the house is.
Mm-hmm. And he had drowned.
Yeah, and he had drowned. And it wasn't like a malicious thing. It was just Nancy wanting to count the ice cream flavors.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this thing where she had told him to go skate on the ice. It was a complete accident.
Yeah, where they trusted in those days because, and maybe some people still do, but, the adults trusted the older siblings.
Who was
even
still very young.
Or something like that, right?
Well, if Freddie was 5, she was probably like 6 or 7.
Right? So she's in charge of her little brother and she looks away and he drowns in the pool?
I don't remember.
Something like that?
I don't remember.
Well,
it's
not a skating pond.
Yeah, but it could have been a pond. I don't remember.
Something.
But anyway, he does drown and it's when they're on vacation and then they end up making up this story because I think that they are sensitive to the fact that Nancy was the last one left with him, and it kind of looks bad on everybody. We don't want to put that on Nancy, but maybe we shouldn't have left the kids like that. We don't want Nancy
to feel like she was responsible for her brother's death.
Yeah. So
his favorite toy was this puppet, right?
Yeah. So then they end up making up a story about him getting
actually so emotional right now, guys.
Yeah, it actually does get really sad about him just getting an infection and then it doesn't add up. Louise is like, that wouldn't have been that quick and blah, blah, blah. They get to the real truth. And it also turns out that Freddie is actually buried on the land and
at the house.
At the house. And to exorcise this Pupkin, we have to get to Freddie and get him crossed over.
Yeah, because he died as a young child and he was trapped in that. Mm-hmm. So all of the times he's acted out was very childlike, even though quite malicious when you think about it. So it's okay, what's going on, with that? But that's where Grady, I think, had fun.
Yeah.
This wasn't a friendly spirit that was just confused, left behind. He was kind of a troublemaker.
He was a troublemaker, but he really just wanted Nancy. Yeah. So it was kind of just whatever it took.
Oh.
Including getting rid of
everybody.
Mark and well, because then he had Louise. So anyway, it gets graphic there too because there's kind of this showdown.
Honestly, I want to know if this pulled at your heartstrings. There's this moment because Louise confronts, and that's, part of it, right? Of exorcising the ghosts or helping them cross over. And she's saying, but you hurt Nancy. You hurt the people that she loved and that hurt them. And then she was just honest and she's like, everyone's gone. No one's going to take care of you. And then Pupkin curls up into her neck like he did when she was a child.
I would have kept him.
And goes, you can take care of me. And Grady, it's this for me who loved my stuffies and everything, I go, this all he wants is love. He's snuggling her,
Yeah.
And for one moment I go, keep him.
No, and then she the part that got me was when he was like, I don't want to go. And she's like, but you're real. That's what makes you real is you have to go. You have to die. Yeah. Oh my God. So it was really quite emotional. the whole conclusion there.
Yeah.
But he ends up going, and then Poppy ends up being okay.
Yeah, and then there's this beautiful moment where they have like a funeral for him and Barb's there and the cousins are playing and Poppy's so happy and like it's
And
kind of just left on an upper.
There is this like kind of interesting part too where Louise tells Freddie at that point like to say like thank you and I understand you and like just
to
a
my
closure with
mom?
Nancy,
Yeah.
which like I feel like Nancy could have been a little bit more of an open book when it came to some of this stuff.
Yeah. But maybe she also thought like if I tell people this, they're going to think. But remember though, she went her life also not knowing about her brother.
True.
Like, right? She was told that he had died from an accident, so it was her way to stay close to him.
Yeah.
So basically her brother was haunting her entire life.
I just feel like there could have been a little bit of mother's intuition when she picked Mark up from college and he was
Yeah.
like super like distraught.
But all she cared about. Yeah, Nancy wasn't the best. She
No,
was
but
not
then
this-
again, she did have this trauma. She lost her brother. Obviously, there was something going on
well,
with Nancy.
she clearly was stuck not growing up too.
Yes.
I mean, there were some. Here's the thing. Obviously, you have to stretch your imagination for this one. But Grady did a good job, I feel, of bringing you into this wild world.
Yeah.
It was not a haunted house in my imagination, though. And so I was
No.
a little disappointed with that. That's
Yeah.
my biggest woe.
Yeah.
But the second half, is the second half worth it, Ashley?
It was for the story. I feel like we just talked about that for so long.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God.
it was for the story. Again, it's just not what I expected, like looking at this cover and seeing the title.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting.
I will say one of my favorite things that Grady does in his book.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I do want to say I agree with you full-heartedly, Ashley. I want to read another one of his just to see how he's evolved. Maybe that witchy one. I don't know. But
Yeah.
he does, and I'm holding this up. If you're listening, you might want to check it out on YouTube or some of our clips. But he adds these little touches that go with the story at the end. So like there's the youth program, the puppet youth program that Nancy did. And what I love about it too is like the Comic Sans.
Yeah.
Like when you started using word
Yeah.
processor as a processor and like everybody was like, oh, let's not just Ariel or sorry. Yeah, not just
Yeah.
Ariel or New York Times, like Comic Sans.
Yeah.
Everybody did an invitation with Comic Sans.
Yep.
And then this was kind of cute too. What you should know about demons. Barb
little
had a little
flyer,
had a
whatever.
flyer,
Yes.
Yeah. And then you have where you could, contact Barb to help. And like I said, Barb, I wish on it. Okay, the criticism I had was haunted house misleading, but I wanted more Barb. Like she was the character. I was like, this one, like maybe maybe 2/3 could have been the adventure of exercising or whatever.
Yes.
And then you have the funeral thing.
Yeah. The little
and-
invite
yeah,
or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I love how he does that. He did that in the other one as well.
Yep.
But yeah, we're seeing a lot about the final girl support group. And then I don't know if this is the same one, but there's that other one about like the oh my gosh.
Wayward House of Witches or something.
Is
like
that what it was? I don't know. The one that they referenced in the Southern Book Club where it was like Satanic Panic.
He
like
he has quite a few. Let's see, because there's a list. Okay, so My Best Friend's Exorcism.
Oh, I think that's
or Horror
the one.
Store.
I think it was the Best Friend's Exorcism. But whatever, there's a few. So maybe we'll pick one up later.
Oh, do you see
closer.
he has nonfiction? Grady, you have
Paperbacks from
nonfiction?
Hell, The Twisted History. Okay, well, when we were looking for historical, but this is nonfiction. Very interesting.
Yeah, I know. So for those who are listening to just going,
I know. Grab
we're
a
looking,
book.
we're looking,
Look at his
we're looking
works.
in his book. Yeah.
And Kung Fu. Okay.
So there's more. There's more, and I'll probably hit more too.
I might
because
too.
I do like his writing style.
Yeah, and it goes kind of like, well, at least for me, this last half quickly.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like very like the description, I can imagine the whole thing like as I'm reading
Yep.
as this little movie in my mind, which I
Yep.
love. So thanks, Grady, for another one. I
Worth
think
it?
it's
I
time
mean,
to-
worth it? Do we say thanks?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I
Thanks.
could have used a different title, but it was
Mhm.
enough to pick it up, so it worked.
Hey-oh, good job, marketing team.
Yeah, and then I guess if we would have known right from the get-go to expect this evil puppet, like it maybe wouldn't have appealed to me as much.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
And we are going to get into the Buffalo Hunter. We're not completely done with this, so we won't have to spend too much time on it.
No.
I'm thinking, should we just do this and then finish with our game or break it up with our game now?
Well, you made the game. Where do you think the game fits?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like we just talk so much about, do we need a little brain break? I'm thinking.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
So we're gonna put Buffalo Hunter, the Buffalo Hunter down. And I'm going to engage every listener, every baddie bookie, and Ashley in a game that I like to call Weapon of Choice. Choice. Weapon of choice.
Pew, pew.
Because it's fun. Okay, so how to play. The game goes like this. I describe a dangerous classic or famous thriller horror situation from literature
Okay.
and list 4 different environmental objects that could be used as a weapon for the protagonist to use to escape a horrific fate. You, in these scenarios, are the protagonist, Ashley.
Yep.
An environmental object would be something that you would find nearby, just to clarify for everybody.
Okay, like the chainsaw. I mean the
If
skill
it's,
saw.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I was like, if there's a chainsaw there, it made me look around the room to see what we would have. Okay. And I want you guys thinking at home too, because this is fun. What is your weapon of choice? Okay, so Ashley, what's your weapon of choice and how do you use it to escape or defeat the threat? Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Scenario. Castle guest. Unwelcome host. Inspiration Dracula from Bram Stoker. Setup. Night falls over a Transylvanian castle. Footsteps pause outside your locked guest room door. At the window, a bat scratches the glass. You find a heavy velvet curtain on a steel rod, a small silver hand mirror, a braided string of garlic on the hearth hook, or a wooden chair, sturdy legs that could be broken off. What is your weapon of choice and how do you use it?
Okay, I'm going with the chair. I just feel more comfortable with something solid in my hands. I don't know if I would have known that I needed the garlic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the mirror just feels a little too flimsy for me. That was my second choice. But
okay.
yeah, I'm getting the chair.
Yeah.
I am possibly breaking it if possible. I am first just going to the window where the bat is just to like assess the situation, possibly trying to hit the bat with the chair. And then I'm going to the door and I might just use the chair to like keep the door closed at that point.
Amazing. Second scenario. The Windmill's Shadow. Inspiration is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley.
My favorite, by the way.
That's what I thought. High on a windmill catwalk. The creature advances. The ladder down is broken.
Oh no.
The gears grind louder.
Uh-oh.
You find an oil lantern with a slosh of fuel,
Okay.
a coil of rope looped over a pulley wheel,
Uh-huh.
a farmer's pitchfork.
Okay.
I kind of think I knew the answer. A burlap sack of flour, fine, blinding dust. What is your weapon and how do you use it?
Okay, you know me correctly. I was leaning towards something else, but I'm taking the pitchfork because I just need that. I just need the security of something sharp close to my body, and I'm just waiting it out until whatever the threat is gets close enough to me, and I will then take my pitchfork to
You heard it here
to
first.
my most likely future husband.
I'm just...
Have you guys read Frankenstein?
Yeah,
it's very romantic.
It's very romantic. Pitchforks and all. Scenario 3. Overlook on empty. Inspiration, The Shining.
Ooh.
I know, Stephen King. A deserted hotel corridor steams with cold breath. An axe bites into the door frame behind you.
I was hoping I would get the axe. Okay.
Well, you find a wall-mounted fire extinguisher,
Okay.
a housekeeping linen cart on wheels,
Ooh, okay.
a cast iron skillet left on a room service tray,
Mhm.
or a strobing emergency beacon from the ballroom stage kit. What is your weapon of choice and how do you use it?
I'm torn, but I think I'm going to go fire extinguisher. I'm going to blind the person with the axe and possibly hit them with the fire extinguisher or hopefully get the axe from them because they're incapacitated by the extinguishing stuff.
Grady, I think we have a final girl for you. Okay,
Thank you.
scenario. Hill House
I'm loving
wants you
this,
to-
by the way.
Okay, isn't this fun?
Yeah.
I really hope everybody else is following along, and I want to know your choices. So DM, comment, subscribe, follow, all of the above. Okay, so this is Hill House. Inspiration, The Haunting of Hill House, Shirley Jackson. A lot of these became movies because the books were so well written. Okay, here's the setup. Doors slam themselves. An icy cold spot crawls forward.
Yikes.
Something unseen presses at your shoulder. You find a solid iron candlestick,
Okay.
a brass door chain still screwed to a splintered jamb, a salt cellar spilled across the floor, a long wall mirror cracked but portable. What is your weapon of choice and how do you use it?
Oh, I don't know if any of these are really meant for the spirit realm, but I think I'm going to go with the mirror, the sharp.
Me too. That would have been
mirror.
me.
That's just, again, just for me, I feel like the most tangible, damaging item.
Right, because you turn it into glass if
Yeah.
you need it. And then, like, a lot of the spooky stuff, horror and
Maybe
stuff,
we can see it in the mirror.
or transport it into it. I don't know.
Something.
I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
this is great. When the sky attacks. Inspiration, the birds.
Oh, also another fave.
I know. Hitchcock did a good job with it, too. So the setup. Hundreds of beaks hammer the farmhouse.
Yeah, they do.
The windows rattle. The chimney starts to flutter with wings. You find a hammer and a coffee can of mixed nails.
Okay.
2 bed sheets and a roll of duct tape. A stockpot lid, broad metal shield, or a hand crank radio blaring static and tone. What is your weapon of choice and how do you use it?
Okay, what was the first one?
A hammer and a coffee can of mixed nails.
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to catch a bird and then hammer it into the ground one at a time until they're all defeated.
Wow. Wow. Ashley,
I'm just going to swing the hammer in the air to get the birds down. And then because they're demonic birds, I'm going to take nails and hammer their little wings into the wall or the ground until they are all taken care of.
Can I just say I am so lucky you're my friend because I really feel like in an end of the world situation, you're the one to go to.
You know, I also have this sort of like mentality where if the threat will take me under their wing, I will also do the cowardly thing and just become friends with the threat. But in any other circumstance, I'm your girl.
Okay. So this one's called We're Gonna Need a Bigger. Inspiration, Jaws by
Ooh.
Peter Benchley.
Okay.
Setup. On a heaving deck.
Oh.
A gray fin
Nauseous already.
knifes past. The transom groans. Something slams the hull. You find a pressurized air tank,
I like that.
a long boat hook, a chum bucket and ladle,
Oh.
a coil of thick anchor rope with a carabiner. We know you love carabiners,
I
Ashley.
know how to use one of those.
What's your weapon of choice? How do you use it?
Wait, say the first one
Okay,
again. I'm sorry.
pressurized air tank.
I don't know why I'm drawn to that. Like, what am I going to do with that? But I'm drawn to it. I just feel like it's another heavy thing. Like, maybe I could shoot it somehow. The hook also.
The pressure
Yeah.
and like bap.
Yeah. I feel like the hook is probably also a good choice too, but I just
But
don't know if it's
dependent
enough.
on like how strong you are.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough. So I'm going to somehow use that pressurized
I love it.
air tank.
I love it.
Yeah. And if you've seen the Ahoy Curious George movie, you know that he does use the pressurized air tanks to sink down and save the whale. If you have a 3-year-old, you might know what I'm talking about.
Or if you don't,
that's
you
my
like Curious
inspo.
George.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Scenario: Parlor of Stuffed Birds. Inspiration: Psycho.
Oh, okay.
Robert Bloch.
Yep.
Eyes, glass and otherwise, watch from every wall. A silhouette moves behind the office screen.
Okay.
You find a camera flashbulb unit, maybe a blinding pop,
Okay.
a shower curtain rod leaning by the door,
Like it. Okay.
a taxidermy scalpel and twine, or a ceramic table lamp with a heavy base. What is your weapon of choice and how you use it? I feel like I'm starting to figure out your weapon.
I know. Predictable. Maybe I liked the taxidermy blade, but that's too small for me. I need the curtain rod, the shower curtain rod. I just need to get space between me and that thing, whatever it is, if it comes to me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so ride for the covered bridge. We're almost through. Do you want to keep going?
Let's at least do one more.
Okay, because this is the Legend of Sleepy Hollow,
Oh.
Washington Irving. Ready? Hoofbeats thunder behind you.
Liking it.
A rider without a head closes the gap as the bridge appears.
Not liking it.
Okay, so you're on a bridge though. Like, what could be a weapon, right? You can choose between a swinging oil lantern,
Okay.
a thick horse blanket,
Mm-hmm.
a coiled length of reins or rope,
Uh-huh.
or a carved pumpkin from a roadside stand. What is your weapon of choice and how do
I
you
do
use it?
feel like we
Limited
can-
options here.
Yeah, I feel like we can take those reins across the bridge to somehow, I mean, I don't want to do it to the horse. Maybe I can get it high enough to where it pushes this thing off of the horse and then I jump onto the horse and I just keep going, assuming they're not one, which we do know they go hand in hand. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that rein as like a sort of if you're not watching, that's
a tripwire.
Yes.
Yeah. But not to trip not to trip
My
them.
goal is to get the headless guy off the horse. If it takes them both down, okay, fine. At least I get time to go.
This is amazing. I also want to point out to everybody that Ashley in each of these scenarios is not running away. I mean, I didn't say it was an option.
That's not
but
an option. I would like to employ at least 3 of each of the weapons should I have the time, but I'm following the rules.
Okay, so here's the thing. There are like 2 or 3 more, but we're going to stop with this next one because this one's important to me.
Okay.
It's based off of Cujo.
Oh, it's important to me too.
Stephen King. Hey, Stephen.
Yeah.
Trapped in a dead car under a brutal sun.
Yep.
Okay. A snarling dog circles. Every movement draws furious attention.
Uh-oh.
You can find a tire iron under the seat, a wool car blanket,
Mm-hmm.
a blaring car horn because it works intermittently,
Mm-hmm.
or a length of jumper cables. What is your weapon of choice and how do you use it?
While I do wish I could tie it up with the jumper cables and just be on my way, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go tire iron and decapitate Cujo.
Well, you don't want rabies.
No, I don't. And I feel bad about it, you guys. PETA, I feel bad about it.
And that's how you play weapon of choice. Okay, the reason why I wanted to mention that is a quick story. I'll make it quick, everybody. Much, much faster than talking about Grady Hendrix. Do you remember the night in high school we went to go see The Shining play at midnight at the local movie theater?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I was exhausted, guys. I was doing drumline like nobody's business and then staying up super late writing papers and all this horrible, horrible stuff that wasn't fun. So I was like, yes, I'm going. We're watching The Shining. It was actually the first time I saw The Shining. I don't tell that to anybody. Even my parents were like, you haven't seen The Shining? I was like, when was I going to just watch The Shining? Like, I didn't know that much about it. And it's on the big screen and like our friends are screaming. It's super fun. I pass out briefly and then wake up and it's like terrifying. But for me, The Shining was more of a mental game, like a psychological thriller. So we get back in the car. I even think Maya's driving. And we're dropping somebody off. I can't even remember. But I'm so exhausted. I'm falling asleep in the back of the car. But one of those where like people don't really know you're falling asleep. You're just that exhausted. And we get into a deep street in like the dark of somewhere, and that giant dog off leash lunged the car and like came after us and was like barking at my window. Do you remember that? I was like, it has red eyes. I was crapping my pants.
I'm conflating this memory with one where we went to see Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I think I know what you're talking about. I think I remember where we were, which I won't say, obviously.
Exactly.
And
me too.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
It's one of the and then at that point it was in my mind. Nothing could be more horrifying than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we survived, so that was cool. Because we were like, go! And I don't know, I guess Maya booked it or something, but
well, aren't we all lucky
survived.
to be alive?
Hilarious, right? So hey. And that's my story. My
your
relevant
Shining
story.
Cujo
My
story.
Shining Cujo. Like a real life experience, guys. It was terrifying. Terrifying.
Well, speaking of real life experiences, the Marias Massacre.
Oh, that's
Am
not
I
funny.
right? No, it's not funny. But I did that. That was my fault.
I know.
Okay.
I was even laughing earlier about like the puppet show, and we're obviously a military
9/11?
Family. Yeah, it's not. And I was just laughing at Grady's writing about the situation, not at all like
Obviously.
it's not. Don't worry. This isn't a trigger warning.
No,
So
no.
but boy,
this
do I have a
is.
trigger warning. So Stephen Graham Jones, the Buffalo Hunter. I almost had to stop reading it, Ashley.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is right up my alley. but like
Sorry.
we've said, and like I think I'll always say, a historical fiction needs to be taken like a tiny sip at a time for
Yeah.
me, and
Yep.
especially one that's like, why are they all so dark? I guess history is dark.
Well,
But
and this is horror. But
yeah, true. But it's not the horror that's bothering me. It's the other
history.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
Same.
I think that just this section, like there were a couple parts that were just really hard to swallow.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we don't even need to get too crazy into it because I said this before, but we didn't finish. I think this last third is really where the action's gonna happen
Yeah, and it started.
too.
I hope. Let me say this. I'm going to add to what you said. I hope that this last third has a lot of action because the second part had a lot going on.
There was action. It was action I didn't need in my life
I
for this
didn't.
particular week. I don't know
No.
if it's my life or the book or what, but I think we can just start off by saying like where we picked up. We were just more into Good Stab's story.
Yeah.
We talk a lot, and I don't even really think we need to get into too much specifics because guess what? If
Yeah.
you're going to read this book and you want to hear about like some of the history, really it's the buffaloes for me. I mean, there's
Yeah.
atrocities on both ends when it comes to the two groups of humans, but the buffalo situation is really what made me sad. Also the boys who were traveling with the buffalo hunters. I didn't like
Mhm.
that scene. We can talk about that briefly.
Yep.
But really it's just the waste and the yuckiness that goes around the slaughtering of the buffalo. They're taking tongues and hides. They're leaving young ones. It is just really painted to be a sorrowful, sad
think-
situation.
Okay. I think for me, it is one of the most grotesque scenes that I've read. And I'm not even talking about when Good Stab deals with them.
Mm-hmm.
What I can say is if you are an animal lover, honestly, I'm not sure you can read this or that
No.
I wouldn't even suggest it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
And I am an animal lover. It is John Wick. I keep bringing this up, but times 100 for
It's
me.
worse than the puppy.
Yeah, it's so much worse than the puppy. However, in John Wick fashion, I'm like, go get him. Go get him. Like
Yeah.
I choose animals over these. Like it's totally justified. What Good Stab is about to do in great detail, Stephen. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I said that wrong. Thanks for that. That was kind of fun. But you want him to. I mean, like, I'm not one to promote violence, but you know, that's part of the fun with horror like this, especially with the history, which I'm led to believe is quite accurate of what was done.
Yeah.
And that was really heartbreaking for me because you don't have this, in a way, Good Stab's almost a hero, right?
Definitely. I think as we get to where we left off, we touch on that too.
Yeah.
Like there's this divinity sort of half to him,
Right.
and then there's this devilish sort of half to him or whatever
Right.
you want to call it. But yeah, he is kind of a hero. I mean, he's definitely a man of the buffalo.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the only thing I can imagine is if you have a family history of, you know, hide traders that you are very proud of, you might not like this story.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think just, you know, being human and having a heart, you look at what had happened, and at times I kind of wanted to vomit, to be honest.
Totally. Like when I think of the massacre of the buffaloes, I think of those trains where people were like
That's
on
what I used to think of.
Right. And now I'm like, wait a second, it's worse? Like,
Okay, so here's a big spoiler, and I think we should say it just because if someone's reading it or wants to read it, they need to be prepared, I think, so
Totally.
they can digest it.
Okay.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
So there's this scene where he comes across fields of buffalo who have been skinned, sometimes alive.
Yeah. I think more often than not because they're not wasting bullets.
And the meat's not being used. Even come to find out later that one of
Oh,
the
I hated that.
strategies was to put a poison on the meat so that if someone would try to eat the meat, like another native tribe, they
or
would.
a wolf.
Or a wolf.
Because they're trying to kill the wolves too.
That's true. Anything. They die. They would
Yeah.
become violently ill and die.
Yeah.
So it was complete waste. And that, like, for me personally, I understand the need and the use of animals as a food source. If you're a vegetarian, don't read this book
Oh my
at
God.
all, okay?
No.
Or especially a vegan. But waste is not okay in my book at all. And then it's described with not just how some of them are still alive, but that they slaughter the mommies of these buffalo and they don't see a purpose in the robes of the young ones, the calves, because it's too small. And so they were leaving them. And there's actually this beautiful moment where Goodstab has a connection with these calves. And it's also horrific too, painted with this scene. And these buffalo hunters take their satchels of milk and they don't want to waste bullets. And so they try to feed these calves milk and slit their throats.
Yeah, and the calves are so hungry
and screaming.
that they just
They're
keep
whining.
coming, piling over each other to get to the sacks of, I think it's even just like water and butter, whatever it
Yeah.
is that they're drinking. And then they're just being slaughtered, just cut after cut. And it's really
waste.
sad.
I could have gone my life not
Picturing it?
Yeah. But at the same time, I go, that's so completely devastating. And not only does it help you, like, go, yay, Team Goodstab, but it makes you take a hard look at history.
Yeah, it does. And because while you are like, yay, Team Goodstab, you're also just like, he hates that he's this thing and he hates that this is happening. And he doesn't like, but I mean, what else? If we're just going to be immortal and live off blood, we might as well get some sort of vengeance on what's going on. And he even makes a comment about like all this meat could have like fed all these people for like many winters. He comes across the white clay people who take some bites out of the meat and then they end up getting sick. It's just all really yucky stuff.
Yeah.
He talks about like this, I didn't like this scene at all where some of the hunters like engage in like sexual abuse of like the younger hunter people.
Because the boys, they probably were in a
skinners.
station of life where they had nothing else that they could do and took advantage of going on these trips, right?
Yeah.
But we're also
Victims.
participating in the buffalo.
Probably with no options. They were the skinners, I think he called them. So that's like the yucky work, I imagine. But anyway, it was just a bunch of yucky painted scenes. And so there was a lot of that in this section. There was a lot of that. There were some other things that happened too. Goodstab actually encounters his dad, which I felt was, I mean, it ended
Let's talk
weird.
good stuff. Yeah, real quick.
But it was kind of like an interesting little piece of closure, I thought. He meets this, what I guess we're supposed to understand is like a sort of god, the trapper guy. He's like this.
Yeah, it almost seems nappy.
Yeah,
like and he's
because with their gods it's
times.
different.
Yeah,
like it's not like what we think about necessarily, but there are all these different pieces of like nature who are like spiritual sort of like entities, I guess.
Right. Yeah, guides. In a way.
Yeah, there you go. So we have Nappy, who he comes across. That's like kind of his friend now. I think we're going to see more of him. Goodstab was drinking too much blood.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Of the trappers.
You start to understand also how his specific type of vampirism works.
Yeah.
Where like he starts to become the things that and you had mentioned this a little bit last time.
He was getting horns. And now
he's
getting a beard.
And that's the hardest thing for him is like, in order to be native, he has to feed off of natives, but he doesn't want to do that.
It's a very interesting part of the story.
It is very interesting.
And then he does get a little bit of native blood in him, and then he starts to like remember who he is. I thought that was really like I liked that the writing,
beautiful.
But I also want to talk about Arthur a little bit, because I feel like we're gonna have a lot to talk about when we come back to meet about the book. But where we're leaving off, Arthur is putting 2 and 2 together. Yeah. Big time.
Oh, yeah.
And he's starting to get scared. So there's something about Arthur that we don't know yet.
I think there's something about the cat we don't know, too, and that's why I brought this mug.
Oh, that's interesting.
Little Miss Cordelia.
Okay.
We'll talk about that, too.
Okay. So one of the older women who still like remembers like the old world
It
superstition
was such a beautiful part.
is privy to something that might be going on.
Oh, you mean that? Yeah, the German.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So then we have this realization where not just Arthur, but somebody else is like
In the
thinking
town.
there's some spooky business going on.
Yeah, she's avoiding the church, and we come to find out it's because, given her history, like a couple little things have been happening around her that she's paying attention to, and she's like, "There's evil here."
Yeah, it's been
Essentially.
contaminated, this
Yeah.
church. And she even says the German word for this like night creature.
Mhm.
So Arthur goes to his sheriff friend Doyle and is like, "Hey, definitely for sure this native has been killing these people. Definitely for sure you need to take care of him," because he doesn't mention this part, but
Yeah.
definitely for sure Arthur is scared.
And that was closer to where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So just to like say where we're at, I think we're going to come to a culmination of why Good Stab has chosen Arthur to share his testimony.
Yeah.
And Arthur feels something happening, and we didn't learn anything new about the San Francisco folks who were
Yeah.
being skinned, but
It
they're
was
still
kind
in
of
the
just
picture.
like Pinkertons are a revolving door.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dove's
He
gone,
dies.
though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets taken care of.
Wasn't
So
mad
there's
about it.
some stuff to think about, but really this part was just a lot of sadness.
Yeah. Definitely. You know, I don't feel that we have to talk too much about it. My, let's just say, favorite part,
Oh, good. Yes.
and then maybe a prediction, or even just like, okay, favorite part,
Uh-huh.
prediction, and do you recommend this book so far?
Okay. You first.
Okay. Favorite part, honestly, vengeance. I couldn't help it. The vengeance is so well written
Yeah.
through him telling the story. I could do a little bit less of Arthur, to be honest,
Yeah.
but he's describing how he comes across the buffalo hunters, and you know, it's in contrast and almost after this brutal scene, and he goes to town, man. He
Mhm.
he's getting injured too, and he needs blood to heal himself. But I mean, so honestly, it's pretty rated R, where he's like tearing faces,
Oh, yeah.
and the description Stephen Jones. But it's almost like, because I was so
Mad. Yeah.
I was so mad. It was like, please stop them, and it's like almost fulfilling in a sense.
Yeah, it wasn't fulfilling enough for me. I need more, and I think we're going to get more.
Yeah.
But yes, agreed.
Okay, and then prediction. Okay, so we were hoping to find out more about Arthur. I think right off the bat, my prediction is, or my hope, that we hear more about the buffalo hunter,
Mhm.
and hopefully have some redemption for the Native American culture. Obviously, there's more sadness to go, but I'm ready to, like, okay, we had the moment, the like brutal moment. We're on your side now. Let's go to town.
Yeah.
And hopefully something spooky happens with Arthur.
Yeah.
And then would I recommend this, given if you're still listening, or still
Yeah.
or still wanting to read, or are still reading, having gone through what we told you and warned you about? Yes? Like, yes, question mark.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how satisfying the ending is before I'm more willing to put my historical fiction horror stamp of approval.
Yeah.
But it's leading there. I think that no matter what, like if you can handle the topic, the material, the writing is really good.
Yeah.
So if you
Yes.
can handle how grotesque and disturbing, and maybe just the fact that like there is real history written here,
Yeah.
and it's really yucky stuff. If you're okay with all that, I think the writing is worth a read for sure. I think he does a really good job just of the whole native culture,
Yes.
even just Arthur's little.
He's quite respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just all of it. I really am enjoying the words on the page. I did like.
And you're experienced.
It feels very academic in that way. I liked the Good Stab going back as far as favorite parts go.
Yes.
Good Stab getting a little glimpse into his small robes, I think they're called,
Aw.
tribe.
Yeah.
I like that moment with his dad. I thought we learned a little bit more about like some vengeance he might still be seeking to fulfill when they talked about that scene where a lot of his people got murdered, like shortly
Yeah.
after he was
Agreed.
turned. The hunter men were out, and it seems like there was a massacre. I don't know if that
Yeah.
was the Mariah's massacre. Everything's not quite
Like,
put together
yeah,
yet, or if
that's-
it was
okay,
just
good.
like
I'm
a
glad that
small
wasn't just me.
thing.
Or maybe there's just, like you said,
Yeah.
so much.
But I feel like there's something there because he keeps talking about it.
Yeah.
And then definitely we're going to find out what's going on with Arthur. He's obviously connected. I don't know if he's connected first person or if he's connected just like by, just being in the
Yeah.
situation that he's in. Like he's there to support the community of these, I guess, colonialists, whatever you want to call them. Settlers by default. But I don't know like how direct his role is personally with Good Stab.
Yes.
But it lines up age-wise that maybe he could personally be responsible for something. But then then how do the San Franciscoans fit into all
Or are
that?
they just a part of it because they're part of that history?
Yeah, but
You
he
know what
went
I mean?
all
Like
the way
the
to
Titanic.
California to get these guys, and now they're here and they're dead. I just feel like there has to be something that we haven't
Okay.
talked about yet. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know. I'm not seeing the connection there.
And we'll finish it and we'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend?
So far, yeah. Unless it really pisses me off later, then yes.
I know. So if you guys are still waiting, then wait a little longer. 1 week. We'll get it done by next week.
Oh, for sure. I think a lot of questions are going to be answered. What are you reading next?
We do need to talk about what we're reading next. However, I want to quickly say, no, I lost it. Okay, yeah, what are we reading next? Let's just keep going. This is good.
Okay, wait. You're going to have like an unveiling about what you're reading
Oh yeah,
next.
but so you just do yours first.
Okay, so mine's boring. No, it's not. I think it's
I'm
going to be...
I'm gonna have the camera just focus on you because I'm gonna go get what I need.
Okay. So I'm going to be reading The Confessions. I think it's a relatively new novel. This is by Paul Bradley Carr. High octane, high concept thriller for fans of Blake Crouch, Harlan Coben, and Gillian Flynn. I haven't read any of them. However, Mr. Carr is a former Silicon Valley journalist turned bookstore owner. Okay? This, the little snippet about The Confessions is millions of letters arrive in the mail, murders are uncovered, affairs are revealed, family secrets are exposed. These are the first confessions. This is our last chance. Liam is the world's most powerful supercomputer. I'm going to stop there. This is about AI. This is about people being dependent on AI, and then something goes wrong.
Fascinating and relevant, Ashley.
What goes wrong? I don't know. It's a suspenseful thriller, and I'll be back to talk about that.
Okay, but what do you know about this author you said?
Nothing much, except for he used to be a Silicon Valley bro, and now he owns a bookstore.
Okay, so
and he's an author.
So when does this take place?
I think it's like futuristic present day.
What? Futuristic
Slash
present day.
present day. Because you know how futuristic used to be 2025 and now we're in 2025?
Oh, okay. So was this written a long time ago?
Oh, no, this is a new book.
What?
It's a new book.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So what I mean in the timeline of like, I think it's like probably, if I had to guess, maybe it's taking place in like, 2035 or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm
That's
making
fun.
that up.
Okay, so
I'll know more later.
But why did you choose this?
Okay, so I heard about this book just through somebody's Instagram that I follow who reads a lot, and it's intriguing. I mean, I'm using AI. I think a lot of people are. I like to see this sort of, I don't even know, it sounds like a negative take, to be honest. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't get my fill. Do you know what I mean? Like I wanted something. I wanted
It didn't
jump
hit.
scares.
Yeah.
What I was
Neither
hoping
one.
for, neither.
Sorry to interrupt,
No.
but I feel I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know that feeling where it's just on your shoulders, like you're looking behind you.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's what I wanted.
Okay, well, it makes me happy that we started our spooky season so early because I plan
Yes.
to definitely get, like, as October rolls around,
Okay.
more scary too.
I love it.
I needed a break from just, like, being really
Yeah.
Because Grady was emotional too.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping like we're just like uniting against computers and mine is full of suspense.
Yes, I
what
love
are you
it.
hoping for?
And yours is relevant, so that's super fun. Yours sounds like thriller almost.
It is suspenseful thriller.
Suspense. Oh, I forgot about that word.
What they're advertising it as.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so for what I did was I found 6 books that I thought were like spooky.
Oh,
6,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
And all of them I could do, I think. And I could even tell you what they are. Do you want me to tell you what they are? Or no,
however you want to do this.
Okay, well, no. First thing, we're going to get a winner. So I'm a nerd, and I play Dungeons and Dragons, and it's so fun. Okay?
It sounds fun.
We already know this. I slayed a dragon. It's pretty cool, guys.
It sounds fun.
Yeah. So
no judgment.
So I've got my 6 die with a dragon eye in it that I got at Denver FanCon.
Okay. Repeat that.
Because I've got 6 books, and we're going to let fate decide. I really hope it decides well. Get ready?
Yes, this is exciting.
Number 5.
Lucky number 5.
Ooh, is number 5 lucky?
It is because it's the one you rolled and you're lucky.
Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay, so I am going to be reading Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. It's actually horror stories by Richard Matheson. And Stephen King was inspired greatly with his writing by this author. And I'm happy this actually is the choice because it's a collection. And what's neat is there was even like a Twilight Zone off of one of these stories.
Ooh, I like.
And there's an introduction by Stephen King on it. So it's masterful horror, engaging stories, fantastic narration, classic terror, imaginative creations, and thrilling tales.
So this is an older collection if
Yes.
it was something that inspired Stephen.
Yep. And then the audiobook, if you're going to go that way, is 10 hours about. And so this is an anthology, and it's narrated by 8 people.
I like that.
I do too. Oops. There's my Buffalo Hunter. One of the finest and most influential horror writers of the 20th century. Richard Matheson, I Am Legend, The Incredible Shrinking Man, Somewhere in Time, has left his stamp on the collective imagination. Here are more than 20 of Matheson's most memorable tales of fear and paranoia, personally selected by the author. Many of these stories have already entered into popular culture, including the title story, which became a landmark episode of The Twilight Zone, and Duel, the nail-biting tale of man versus machine that inspired Steven Spielberg's first film. So yes, when you're talking about age, this is an older, probably, later half of the 20th century.
Yep.
But there's something classic, I feel.
I think you're more likely to get what you're looking for.
Thank you.
It
Right?
just by the sound
Cool.
of what it is you're looking for and
Cool.
what this is, I think this is the answer.
I
Let's
think
hope.
so too. And that way too, it's kind of like I can read I could read a few of the stories and have different adventures within.
Yes, I
you know?
like this.
So that's where I'm headed, guys. If you want to join me.
A nice juxtaposition to one very detailed story.
Yes.
So I think that'll be nice as well.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And you're gonna go into the world of machines.
Yeah, I'm going to Silicon Valley, I think. And yeah, we're gonna fuck some shit up. No, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I know letters are coming, so like handwritten versus like AI. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. It's exciting.
And hopefully you could also predict the future and save us.
Yeah.
And I wonder what type of environmental objects we can use.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a pretty good idea of how I would use some. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to move forward. I'm excited to get to the end of the Buffalo Hunter, as I always am excited to get to the end of the historical fiction that I start.
It's usually the best part.
It's always the best part.
Ashley, thank you. This has been so fun.
Yeah, this has been a lovely episode number 22. That's 20 plus 2. And I can't wait until we are back here again.
We can math and we can read.
Yeah, we can.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Thanks, bookies.
Yeah, it's almost fall. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.